in some particular areas in Africa, they'll be like, you Adoni, why are you going to school? Just stay at home. Let's Dele go.
A guy has to be a doctor, then a girl has to be a nurse. So
Exactly.
what makes it so? Who put the rules?
While a child is growing up, if you see a girl child probably going to carry ball to play or something, you say, hey, drop it. It's not your type. That is that kind of thing. Yeah.
The male gender currently, now in present day time, there's no information, and there are not enough role models to teach them how to be genderly balanced. The average man looks at his macho guy
man
in front of him and be like, that's my model. That's what I must become like.
Maybe something happened and then I'm quite down at the moment, and then they'll say, you're a man, you shouldn't be crying.
You know the funny thing? Ladies can actually tell you that, but you know the major people that tell you that your same gender.
Hi guys, welcome to Timeline once again. It's been an amazing ride here and there all season long. My name is Paul, and with me here is
Jonese.
and also we have
Faith Emmanuel.
You're
Hi,
welcome,
Faith.
Hi.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I like the earrings, giving the whole African vibe.
Thank you.
I know, right? We're in Africa, and so today we're discussing around Africa as a society, talking about gender stereotypes that we find in our societies here in Africa. It might surprise you that here in Africa, there's some roles that are gender specific in terms of probably how to do things that should be done in the house, here and there, even in the society. As a man, you're expected to be this way. As a woman, you're expected to be that way. All of these things are things we'll be discussing today in the course of our conversation. It's interesting to say that even with new developments here and there are still some things holding Africa back as a society in terms of leadership, economic development, and so many more.
Paul, it's just as if let's just continue. But anyways,
You're enjoying my story.
like I was enjoying it, but well, this is me bringing you guys into the main story. And permits me, everybody already knows. Are you sure they will not stop me on the road and start calling me historian? But let me take you guys back.
Yeah.
I have 4 steps I'm going to take. First of all, the pre-colonial era, the colonial, then the contemporary society and all that. So let's go to pre-colonial era. This whole stereotype thing was not really like that. Like, funny enough.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, it was not like that. Like, we had women and men that were working. And to burst your brain, we had women that were warriors, that fought for their people, expanded their land, even fought the colonial masters.
It's giving woman king.
Exactly.
Woman King vibes, yes.
You get.
Actually, Woman King is actually a real story.
Yes,
but just modernize it and illustrate fiction.
No, wait, let me finish my story.
vex.
Don't collect it from my hand.
story.
Okay, so this particular women, we have, just like you mentioned, the Woman King, for instance. Then we have likes of Queen Amina of Zazao, she expanded the northern part in Nigeria. We have Queen Zinga in Angola. She did that in Angola as well. We have Moremi in Nigeria. We have Ransom Kuti as well that fought for the women, the whole tax that the white people were doing and all that. So the men too were also doing their whole stuff, being manly, providing for the house and all that. But I'm just trying to say that women also played significant roles. They were not just,
They were not sidelined.
Yeah, they were not sidelined. They were not subdued. Now, it now got to the colonial era, where we are supposed to be, thinking that it's supposed to change. But unfortunately, the women became marginalized. Like, they just say, okay, they now had to, leak some secret to Paul's gender that this particular set of women are not supposed to be political leaders. They're not supposed to be warriors. They're not supposed to be fighting like this. Like, a woman can actually come inside a meeting and say, no, like, stand up for other women and say, no, this particular judgment will not be fair on the market women or as a woman at large. So this and it's decolonization came with a lot of things. It came with religion. It came with a lot of things, a lot of packages that actually marginalized women. And at this point, women fell from the arcade where they used to, do their whole stuff and started becoming housewives, staying at home. They're not meant to contribute their ideas. They're not meant to stay in political positions anymore and all that. So this lasted for a long time, from the 19th century down to the 20th century. And now, coming to the post-colonial era, women started, raising their heads a little, but they were still like coming out from the whole shadows and all that. And then to our contemporary society where we have feminists in the building, we have a lot of women doing a lot of things. It permits me to say that, the current re-elected president of WCO, Okonjo-Iweala, she is my sister's auntie's cousin. But don't worry, don't loud it to her. So we are kind of connected. So you can imagine what likes of Okonjo-Iweala, likes of Chimamanda Adichie, likes of a lot of people doing a lot of things, speaking out for women, bringing out that gender equality back again in the line. We have a lot of women now in the space all over the world. We have Salif, who was the former president of Liberia. We have a lot of women that are actually doing a lot of things in our contemporary society.
So in our societies today, I think it's important that because you've been saying women. It's also important to know that we are talking about gender now, not just women.
Now, men.
So because while you were telling us your story, you made a statement, do manly things. Nobody in the first place attached it, or maybe our community one way or the other attached that, okay, these are manly things.
That's the stereotype we're talking about.
Exactly. Are women to even use that statement in the very first place, being manly?
So, being manly, really, are we supposed to use that statement? I think we need to go back to the basics, right? What even happened? Africa is largely a cultural setting, whether we like it or not. And because we were pushed together from different areas, and then, and because we were pushed together from different areas to now form what we have as a larger society, it means that in the beginning, right, we were all one. And those cultures was what brought us together. And if we like, we should separate to India, Pakistan, wherever we want to be. As Africans, that culture will still be inherent. Let me give you a quick example. If you meet an Igbo man in a store and you're trying to buy something, whether you are in India, whether you are in UK, first thing he says to you is that, fine girl, let me buy it for you. Why? Because he's here naturally. His culture built that into his DNA. He just feels like, I'm a leader, I'm on top. And whether you like it or not, there's this instinct in an African woman that says, oh, there's a black man. In short, it's even a thing. Around the world, you hear people say they want the black man syndrome, like take care of me, like a black man.
Dominate.
Do you get? So it's built into our culture. So when you say manly, it's actually a thing. But where we find the balance right now is we are in a contemporary world, right? What should define the roles of a woman? What should define the roles of a man?
Exactly.
Is it how much they bring to the table? Is it their sex? Is it their color? Or is it what they can do, like when it comes to strength? Because sometimes we see jobs like, for the lack of a better word, bricklaying works, all of those kind of stuff that requires a lot of labor. We see people say, it's a man's work, please, I want soft life. And then you also hear the male gender saying, if you people that are your female gender and you feminists are clamoring for, let's bring this gender thing to become equal and stop being stereotypical, then you guys should be able to do this. You guys should be able to carry cement on your head. So I need us to, in this conversation, right, touch points on those, on that. Like, what makes something, how do I explain this?
What makes gender specific?
Yes, what makes it gender specific? Are they parameters we can measure it by? So does the situation warrant what becomes a gender inclined thing? So yeah, I think we can.
So, like,
take it from there.
I'll start from where you stopped talking
Yeah.
about our colonial masters. I think how we even came on board is the fact that, so starting from them, they came with the mindset of women are not meant to work because that's what they were doing as at then there, right?
Yeah.
So they came up with the mindset of women are not meant to work. They should just be in the
women
house and
supposed to
things like
work.
that.
I'm asking for a friend.
Okay.
Are we meant to?
Are you sure you're not the friend?
So there is also, and then moving on from there, then we'll bring in religion and we see what religion also did as well, the role
Yeah.
religion played. Because I mean, there are some religions that will tell you that women are not meant to work; they should just be in the house. Women can't be leaders
in church.
in
In different
in the
anywhere,
institution. Like women are just meant to take care of the family. Women shouldn't do anything, and she should submit totally to her husband. Anything she wants, she should ask her husband for it. Like all of those things, one way or the other, now reshaped how we see things, because we are coming from a period where we had a number of businesswomen that were leading here in Africa, people in leadership roles, talking about queens here and there, warriors here and there, and now we're now seeing with the masters now coming in, all of those things were now watered. I mean, when they came in, I think that is they kept more tax for women, like market women, there were more tax for them and things like that. Even when it came to parliament, right, there were no women at all at the very beginning of all of these things. So it's all of these things that now trickle down to what we have today, as we see as, these things now are to be while I was in school, there are specific roles that they'll tell you that you see even in the constitution of the student association that the president has to be he has to be, not, usually in things like that you see he or she, or they have to be, but here you don't see he, meaning not giving room for a woman. And then there's also the issue of, and then for vice president you see she, that one doesn't have E at all, meaning that the role of the president is specifically for the men, and while the role for vice president is for the women. We'll go on a short break now. Once we return, we'll continue with the discussion. Gender stereotypes in African culture. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, let's face it, our world today experiences numerous challenges. And guess what? Our community isn't off the hook either. Most of the world issues are either not talked about enough or never talked about at all. But here on Timeline, we've got you covered. We dive deep into issues that affect us every day, leaving behind footprints of wisdom, knowledge, and solutions. Think of it like a roadmap that keeps you on the track for success. So buckle up, because in this new season of Timeline, we're taking another trip through the past, the present, and navigate into a more promising future. Again, we're talking solutions, people. And let's make one thing clear. This is not your average blah, blah, blah convo. This is real talk with a side of inspiration and a sprinkle of wow. I never thought about it like that. I'm your host on this impactful ride. Together, we'll tackle the tough stuff, laugh a little, and find ourselves on the path to positive change. So what are you waiting for? Season 2 of Timeline will be loaded. Let's get started. Hop in and let's drive straight into the heart of issues shaping our world. Let's go. Oh, one more thing. Hit that subscribe button and let's take this ride together.
Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hued Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hued Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hued Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Yeah, welcome back. This is your timeline. We're discussing gender stereotypes in our African society. Now, let's move on now to the challenges that we face here in Africa when it comes to gender-specific roles. I think the very first one has to be traditional settings, traditional right, and things like that. I mean, there are some traditions that if the father of a child or if a man doesn't give birth to a male child, none of his female children can inherit his property. Even his own wife cannot inherit the property. And there are even some cultures where you see that even the wife of the person that dies of the disease now is to be inherited by a family member, by a family member again. And we see all of there are a number of them. There are some that women cannot be in meetings when it comes to decision making. Women cannot be leaders. Women cannot do this. Women cannot do that. And it's now specifically tying specific roles in the community. Community leader has to be a man. Community warrior has to be a man. The king has to be a man. The chieftaincy title and all of those things cannot even go to women. I mean, I've seen debates where they say that as a woman in social culture, you cannot be a chief. It is wrong for you to be a chief in social culture. And all of these things are things that are still holding us back from ensuring that we have that balance. I mean, at the moment, tomorrow now is going to be International Women's Day. That's talking about accelerating action, talking about speeding up how we the speed that we're currently going forward in getting gender equality. And I think that if we could actually drop some of these gender things, these gender specific roles in our traditions, maybe we'll have that balance one way or the other in our societies.
I would like to really speak on education and career limitation. This particular angle used to make me angry. Okay, so in the angle of education, it's obvious that in some particular areas in Africa, they'll be like, you, Adoni, why are you going to school? Just stay at home. Let's Dele go. Let's this one, Tango, go.
He has better chances.
He has better chances of being let him go, let him become educated, because when he becomes educated, he will now come back and take care of you, but you as a woman, your job normally is to take care of the home. Sit at home even when there's no COVID-19. Sit at home and make sure that the family is okay. You birth children, you take care of these children and make sure that he's okay. I mean, he's okay. You understand what I mean? So it's very, very unfortunate that the STEM, that's the science, technology, and all the engineering and mathematics, the ladies are not really involved in it. Even though they are involved, it's at a very minute descent. Then coming to career limitations, when a girl child is not even educated in the first place, she cannot even pursue her career or cannot thrive in a particular career. And we have different kinds of career now. We have the medical line.
I mean, she's not educated, so what does she even know that she wants to elevate
even in the first place, when she's even going to school and they ask her now, what do you want to study in school? And she said, she opens her mouth and says she wants to be a medical doctor, and everybody, all the chiefs will now look at her and be like, what do you mean? Like, go and look for I don't want to call any
nursing.
Course, nursing.
Yeah, because most times, honestly, when I was growing up, every time somebody says nurse, I just think about the auntie nurse that I was like, watch a movie, I saw this guy, I'm like,
you are
they're actually male nurses, actually. But people don't even know.
And those nurses are very caring. I mean, the guys. You can consider it more.
Yeah, but this is the educational stereotype here you were talking about, how mindsets have been so washed down to think that a guy has to be a doctor, then a girl has to be a nurse. So what makes it so? Who put the rules?
The person that started this thing now.
Exactly. Let's look for him.
I think if we should trace all of these things back, right, we see it as it's something that was also embedded in our colonial masters' blood, actually, because there's this movie in Hidden Figures where there were this set of women who were mathematicians, and then they literally fought their way into the men's room because they were better than the men. In this case, they could do calculations better than the men, faster than the men, and even better, right? But then the room was men, meaning that all of the engineers that were there were just men. No lady was allowed in such a place. In fact, there was even a lady that had to go against. She had to sue a particular policy to ensure that she could go to school. And then the option that they gave them was that, okay, you can't go to school while every other person is going to school. But rather, you have to go to school in the nights for her to become an engineer. So it's more like the system that was working there already. And then we just one way or the other adapted that. Because I mean, coming from where we are, with the story you said, that we had women that were already doing well. It was not, we had gender specific roles, right?
Yeah.
But it was
collaboration.
It was more like hand in hand.
balance
There was the balance.
yeah.
It was not that okay, it was only the men that should go to school, it was only the men that should learn. I mean, back then, even both men and women would go to the farm. There's no segregation that okay, you do this, you don't do that. So if it's more like it came with our colonial masters, and we as well adapted to it. We bought into it, and then that is what has actually now brought us to where we are today. I mean,
So I think that we should not also lose the fact that when these things were happening, at this time where there were gender roles, the communities existed in peace. Nobody was trivializing each other's roles. I mean, during the pre-colonial times, you would even watch sometimes some of these movies that were set during this backward period. You would see the balance, you would see the synergy with the communities, and the women,
everyone helping each other.
The women were happy, the men were happy.
Exactly.
They understood. So my point is, as much as we're clamoring, as much as we're talking about bringing gender equality and gender balance, we should not also forget that Africa is a traditionally and culturally based environment. And if we take our traditions and our cultures out of what we're doing as Africans, then we will lose ourselves in our entirety.
And now and again is how it has one way or the other entered our economic system. I mean, there's some places that they'll tell you that a woman cannot buy land in this place. Or I think there are even laws that say that, okay, if you want to travel or you want to get a passport, you have to have a marital certificate and things like that. But all of these things just keep holding.
Limiting.
Exactly. They just keep limiting. It's more like, even if you are this good, like you are the best among every other person, you are different. There's this law that will just hold you that, okay, you can't go past this particular point. You just have to remain there. You shouldn't be able to meet up with the other gender. In this case,
Gender-based violence is something that we shouldn't leave behind.
True.
You see somebody, they have already. I will talk in two ways.
I like that you want to balance it now.
Yes, I'm going to balance it definitely. You see one man now, he will be like, I'm the head of the home. I'm the head of the home. Hey, kneel down there. Who is he telling to kneel down? His wife. Kneel down there. Why did you do this? Why did you? Before you know it, he has beaten her, flogged and done a lot of things.
And he'll justify it.
And he will justify it. What is that? What is he doing? He's disciplining her. Why? But that is domestic violence you're doing there. And you know what's all the elders? I don't know why these elders. I wish we can just pack all of them and just go and keep them. But anyways, most of these people will come and start cheering him up and say, yes, he's really taking care of his wife very well. You see, the wife always comported. That's exactly what she's supposed to look like and how she's supposed to behave in society. And mind you, there are women that actually beat men, actually. Why am I reducing my voice?
Thank you.
There are women that beat men. There are women that beat men. And also, I'll talk about the angle of caregiving. There's this particular sentence that people make that women are natural nurturers. That's true, but men can actually be nurturers.
Exactly.
Why can't a man nurture my baby that I gave birth to? Like we gave birth to the child together. So why should a man be seen as a weakling when he's taking care of the child? Or maybe he just said, okay, let me just stay at home. You go and sleep. Let me take care of the child. I think currently there are some videos we see on social media how men, when their wife just give birth newly and they take care of the child, I say, yes, this is what we are talking about. This is what we are supposed to be seeing.
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I think of it that when my wife gives birth, like, will I be able to carry a newborn? Because
you will start learning.
It's not about starting to learn, right? I mean, if the baby has grown a bit, maybe like 2 months or a month, I can't. But you see, that's when they are still very fragile.
So that the baby will not shoot.
You get that?
So I think it's in light of this context that I'd like to bring this up. So most times when we talk gender equality, right? Most people think that we're saying the exact same capacity that a man can handle his role
Should
in
be the
court
same.
should be the exact same capacity a woman should handle her role. No,
That's not what
that's not what we're saying. We're saying give them equal opportunities.
Yeah.
So, for example, what you just said, I have a child. My body was designed for a child. The softness of my body, the way my hands can feel, the way even
The womb,
the
everything,
chemistry,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't expect you to, in the same capacity, be able to, because your body is strong. Like the baby is like, oh my God, what's this?
Am I on rock?
Do you get? But at least make the effort. Do not trivialize the other person's role or make it feel like this is your job to
Yeah.
do. This is
Exactly.
not my job. So even if she has to go to work, kill herself on several proposals, get home at 20 o'clock for the lack of a better word, she will still come and cook my food and carry my child.
That's not fair.
That's not fair, even humanly.
Honestly, that's not fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so the point is, as much as we want gender balance, we want the stereotypes to end, we must also come to a place where we realize that kindness at the very top of our hearts will help us understand and come to agreement with what gender
You see,
equality
one
could
way or
mean.
the other, right?
Yeah.
I'll blame all of us, actually,
Yeah.
the society. And I'll tell you why.
Tell us so.
While a child is growing up, if you see a girl child probably going to carry ball to play or something, you say, hey, drop
Drop
it.
it.
It's not your type that used to do that kind of thing.
Are you a bloke?
And already, I mean, if you give birth to a male child and I saw this video where if a father was playing with his children, with the male child, would just carry the boy up anyhow and throw him on the couch.
Yeah.
And then for the female
Does
child, they will carry her and then gently drop her. And then, but you see how we naturally, right? The boy would get stronger, right? He expected that he would do
Rough things,
exactly
hard things.
The things you won't buy for them. For the male child, you buy ball. For the female child, you
Biscuits.
buy you buy a doll. All of those things that one way or the other, we're just saying them that okay, this is your own role. Or naturally, we're telling them that this is what you should do. This is where you should go and things like that. And it has all of this impact because I mean, if you should buy a screwdriver for someone, your male child, for example, and then you buy probably a nursing set or a kitchen set for your female child.
Yeah.
Already, this girl's already playing with it. She's always cooking meals with a kitchen
And
set.
gonna be serving her brother with
Exactly.
screwdriver.
And that one too will come. Something has removed. That one too will come with screwdriver
From the
and come
gas
and
cooker.
fix it. Exactly. All of those things will just tell them naturally. Okay, they will just naturally, right? They will enjoy doing all of those things. And when it's time to make career choices, you will see that okay, this person at the end of the day now
gravitate.
wants to be a chef, and then this other guy wants to be an engineer. Because not already you've trained these two people to know that
Has been
you
imbibed,
are an
inculcated,
engineer, or
yeah.
for you just enjoy the kitchen and just stay in the kitchen, enjoy the kitchen basically. So already all of this would on women now, right? It's just naturally limits how they see things, how they see the world sometimes. Meaning that for my dad got me kitchen set, for example. Now, all I can do is just to be in the kitchen. Where I should be is in the kitchen and things like that. And on the flip side as well, for the guy, it mounts a number of pressure. I mean, I do not. That's why I had the issue with the manly thing that you said earlier on.
Oh,
I
it
do not.
triggered you.
I do not like when people make the statements "man up." Why should you tell me to? I mean, probably I maybe something happened and then I'm quite down at the moment, and then you'll say, you're a man, you shouldn't be crying. If
You know
I
the
want
fu-
to
you know
cry,
the
let
funny
me
thing?
let me
You know
cry.
the
If
funny
I want to
thing?
express myself, let
You know
me
the
do
funny
that.
thing? Ladies can actually tell you that, but you know the major people that tell you that your same gender, they tell you that, guy, you be man now. Why you
Now
dey
man
fall-
you be.
Why you dey fall my hand? They'll be telling you why are you falling their own hand as per brotherhood kind of hand. So, but some of us in this line, we they like me you they show say you they weak sometimes. Not all the time, because when you show a lady you are too weak, we look at you as a weakling. But that does not mean you are alpha and omega, that you shouldn't break down.
Have a soft
at
spot
some-
sometimes. Exactly.
So I think this is a good place to say that we have an orientation problem when it comes to gender in Africa. So it's a good place to also say that if we want to deal with all of this, then we must start with orientation, and it will be from the family aspect. So I think that most people who are into humanitarian works, most people who are into advocacy should also imbibe some of these things into their advocacy. For example, if you go to communities, you want to actually orient families about what gender roles should mean. Personally, growing up, my family was very open. If you eat your food, you would take your plate to the kitchen and you're
wash,
going to wash it.
Both male and female.
Both male and female.
Please give me your mom's number.
If somebody cooks on Monday, somebody else will cook on Tuesday.
Exactly.
Good.
And Wednesday. So we're 5 children. So if as much, and funny enough, till date, I do not still understand when a man says he can't cook. It triggers me. I'm like, what is wrong with your hand?
Why can't you cook?
Make it make sense. So I know that there are times when my brothers, guys, they'll always be guys. They trade like, Alpha, let me wash plates.
I'll do this for
I'll
you.
do this for
Yeah.
Do you get? So we understood negotiation. We understood compromise, meeting balance.
Yeah.
So growing up to a society where I remember the first guy I dated, the reason we broke up was because he told me to cook. He wasn't bro. I mean, he made it feel like this is your job.
It's your
And
duty.
I'm like, Jesus
Thank
Christ.
God you fled.
Do you get, because that's how I grew up. But there are a lot of people who grew up in families where my friend's house, if they eat, boys don't enter the kitchen, it's a rule. Their mom said her boys can't enter her kitchen. These boys don't cook, they don't take their plates, they don't wash plates, they don't do nada. And I told her, I said, you have to tell your mom that this is a problem. She said, leave her now. She be in her sons. It's somebody they
you're
will marry.
creating that's what I'm saying about the society creating problems
Yeah.
for us in the future. I mean, such people now, for example, just to clear the record, I can cook any food I want to.
Ooh, I
I'll
see.
cook. Like, it's just
but
important to
that's nice.
state. Any food I want to eat, I can cook it. So
Any
Yeah.
food you want to eat.
yeah, I can cook anything.
But that also
like,
gives him an
statement,
advantage.
like,
It's
no, I
not
can cook
complete.
anything.
It's
Like,
being diplomatic now.
He said
Anything
any food he wants to
it.
not the one that him and his partner can eat.
obviously,
there's some food that we cannot purge.
I'm not that stingy. Come on.
True.
So it's just how we've just trained ourselves to ensure that okay, this thing is a woman's thing, and
Yeah.
you should just be like that. Okay, so what are those strategies? And like on the wrap to wrap things
Yeah.
up now, what are those strategies that we could do to ensure that all of these things are being recorded down one way or the other? We do not see so much disparity like that in our communities.
I think I'll just say that from my work in grassroots and community engagement, especially when it comes to girl-child advocacy, we try as much as possible to have conversations with parents.
Yeah.
Their advocacies we target generally to just mothers, and you'd be shocked at the level of ignorance. They would genuinely tell you, "I did not know." So there are things we've now incorporated into our advocacy. So every time that we go to like a community or something, we try as much as possible to tell them, if your child tells you, "I want to be an electrical engineering," don't shut her down.
As a
Don't-
female, yeah.
There's a female. Don't shut her down and tell her she wants to go and be opening legs for men. Because that's what a woman told me. She said her daughter just wants to be a prostitute for her to tell her that she wants to be climbing ladder. So if she's now down, that's how men will be looking at her
Interesting.
bum bum, and next day she's
imagine.
pregnant and comes back. And I'm like, okay, do you know that this your daughter can change this, that there are opportunities for women in this line, their scholarships? Like, and may she go study them now if I no go pay. And I'm like, wow. So if we actually come down to the very grassroots and start from the family level, start from like community level to actually orient these people about what is obtainable. If you allow your child be this or that, your girl child, it will be really nice. And then for the male gender, I also still think that we don't have a lot of interventions in regards to boy child advocacy.
Yeah.
The average person you see tells you, "Oh, I'm a girl child advocate. Oh, I want women to do this. I want men to do that." We've gotten to a point where I'm a girl child advocate. I have an NGO that works around girl child advocacy, but I've personally seen a very huge gap with the male gender currently now in present day time. There's no information, and there are not enough role models to teach them how to be genderly balanced, if there's anything like that. The average man looks at his macho guy
man.
in front of him and be like, "That's my model. That's what I must become like." And maybe because in Africa, honestly, gender-based violence is a thing. If I don't beat her, she won't listen to me. So if that's the model they see, and you leave them till when they are probably in their 20s or they want to get married, and you're not telling them don't beat her, what are you like? If it should just be following, okay, you've said your own. I've heard you. So the advocacy has to start from the grassroots. We have to start from
And it
the
just
very
grows up like
beginning.
that.
Yeah, and it
So-
just goes up like that.
You have literally said it all. Like, in fact, I'm just like, if everybody can actually get this thing you just said and just apply it, I think we'll have a better and a well-designed, oriented mindset.
Exactly. There'll be balance in our society, no doubt. It's important that we also see our male child. Speak up for the male child as well. I know that it's not bad to speak up for a female child, but also ensure that the boy child is not neglected. Because if you don't train them, they become problem in the future. Train our girl child, train our boy child, so that all of them at the end of the day can all come together and create that balance that we all are clamoring for. I mean, we're talking about accelerating action. It's time for us to, all of us, to be on board and do just that. And that's all. That's a wrap today on the discussion on timeline. My name is Paul, and with me here is
Jonese.
and with me.
Faith Emmanuel.
Thanks for watching.